I want you to let the people of Chicago out there know from your eyes, from a mother's loving eyes, because it's always mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Bottom line. Who was Pinky? Who was Jaslyn? Like, what was she? You describe her to everyone from your eyes.
She was 3 years old. She told me she don't want to be my daughter. She want to be my mama.
Old soul.
She want to be my mama. She was the mama. She didn't know. She knew. No, her mama wouldn't let nobody touch her. She was the mama. She ran everything. Like, she ran everything. Like, she could do whatever she know her limit, but she was able to do whatever she wanted to do. She was a mama. She ran everybody. Everybody loved her. Like,
oh, bro, fuck y'all. Child niggas, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Child niggas, fuck y'all niggas. Whole ass niggas, bro. Fuck y'all. See, all you bitch ass niggas.
Right, they playing all no.
To this stuff, I talk to these cats, right? So I got these kids, I got this girl, I got to do what I got to do. See that? I got to do what I got to do. That's a dangerous statement.
Yeah.
And that's a statement that permeates through the hood. If we're gonna change the narrative, we gotta have more cats like you out here on the front line that's gonna say the things you said.
Then he staged up to the crew talking about trying to get a crib or a cop, bro. You live with your fucking mama, bro. That's your crib. She bogus as fuck living in that roach infested ass building. Oh blood. You need a bitch that got Section 8 or something, cause your ass out of there. Then I heard your ass can't write at all. You can't even write or talk. That's why that be going live. In your ass had your hair, you ain't had your haircut in so long. Yo shit been like that since Pluto died. Oh blood. Yo shit been up. It's like since Pluto died, everybody went crazy there, I know.
Night above a McDonald's drive-thru in Homan Square. What was supposed to be a happy night for a 7-year-old girl was tragically her last day alive.
And now his family remembers young Jaslyn Adams. Police are looking for her killer.
Brittany Garzilla live outside Chicago Police headquarters with the very latest. Brittany.
Well, Corey and Dawn, today a vigil was held for that 7-year-old just steps away from where the fatal shooting took place. Her loved ones and those in the community want justice.
Dozens of brightly colored balloons fill the sky in memory of 7-year-old Jaslyn Adams. Jaslyn is remembered by family as fun and lovable. She was a student at Cameron Elementary School, but late Sunday afternoon, her life was cut short by gun violence.
It just don't make no sense that a 7-year-old baby lost her life in a McDonald's driveway. 7-year-old, 6 bullets riddled her little body because someone did a cowardly act.
The young girl was with her father in the car at this McDonald's at Roosevelt and Kedzie on Chicago's west side when they were both shot. Jaslyn was rushed to the hospital by Chicago police, but did not survive.
It's about time we all take a stand because they have to put down these guns.
Jaslyn's father has a long criminal record, but police have not said if he was targeted. Video from Sunday's shooting shows the car riddled with bullet holes through the back window and trunk. Jaslyn's aunt says her niece was a talkative, sweet child and that Jaslyn was close with her daughter. She and others in the community continuing the plea to end this gun violence.
My 8-year-old baby says she don't even want to go out and play because she's scared she gonna get shot. This gotta stop.
Well, tonight, Jaslyn's father is in good condition, according to his family. So far, no arrest.
The year of 2021 ended as one of the most violent on record in Chicago, as a rise in the number of shootings left more people dead than in any single year in a quarter century, according to statistics released by the police department. According to the department, 2021 ended with 797 homicides. That is 25 more than were recorded in 2020, 299 more than in 2019, and the most since 1996. And there were 3,561 shooting incidents in 2021, which is just over 300 more than were recorded in 2020, and a staggering 1,415 more shooting incidents than were recorded in the city in 2019. Here's a list of some rappers who were unfortunately a part of those 2021 statistics and lost their lives via homicide in Chicago in 2021.
Crime continues into the new year after the police department revealed there were 797 homicides and 3,561 shooting incidents in 2021 alone, marking the city's deadliest year in a quarter.
We got D-Thing. Lil Durk's older brother D-Thing was shot and killed outside of a Chicago strip club on June 5th. His murder remains unsolved.
Now it's 6.
Next we have BCR Measle. 5 months after the Chicago shooting death of FBG Duck, his purported cousin BCR Measle, real name James McGill, was murdered at a Bloomingdale hotel party on February 6th. He was only 27. Next we had KTS Dre. The Chicago rapper KTS Dre was shot approximately 64 times on July 10th as he was leaving Cook County Jail. The 31-year-old man was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he was pronounced dead less than an hour later.
Developing this morning, a man is dead after a shooting right in front of the Cook County Jail. CBS News' Meredith Barrick joining us now. And Meredith, he wasn't the only person shot?
Suzanne, 2 others were injured in the shooting that took place at 27th in California. The crime scene just steps away from the Layton Criminal Courts building. Chicago police say a 31-year-old man and a 60-year-old woman were walking when 2 people got out of a car and fired shots, striking them both. The man suffered gunshot wounds to the face and chest and was pronounced dead at Mount Sinai. The woman was shot in the knee and is expected to recover. A third woman who is standing nearby also suffered a graze wound to the face. She is also expected to be okay. Footage from the scene shows several evidence markers placed on the street and near the sidewalk. Now, as for those suspects, police still searching for them this morning. Reporting live from our street-side studio, I'm Meredith Barrick, CBS 2 News.
Thanks so much, Meredith.
Next, we had E-Day 600. Chicago rapper E-Day was shot and killed on August 1st. According to Say Cheese TV, he was shot multiple times in the back and rushed to the University of Chicago Hospital, where he died. E-Day is often credited for helping pioneer the Chicago drill scene alongside fellow Chi-Town rapper Chief Keef. Next, we had OTF A-Roy. Only the family crew member OTF A-Roy died on Chicago's O Block on December 13th following an altercation. In the Facebook live video of the incident, A-Roy was beating on the suspect and shouting, quote unquote, "You're a grown ass man, I'll f you up." The man momentarily laid motionless on the ground and the fight appeared to be over. But as A-Roy was walking away, the man pulled out a gun and fired multiple shots, killing him. I'm pretty sure a lot of you watching this video have heard of a few of the above mentioned names, if not all of them. Also in Chicago in 2021, there was a 7-year-old girl who was barbarically taken away not only from her father, but she was taken away from everyone who loved her, including her community. This is the story of Jontae Adams, aka Richway Tiller, in the honor of his daughter, Jaslyn Adams. Tiller is a CVL, which is a conservative vice lord, and Blood Gang Otto is a TVL, which is a traveling vice lord, and these sets don't get along with one another.
We got 30-30s, we got Uzis.
Just one of the many heavily armed street gangs in Chicago.
Hey, we hunt whoever try to hunt us. That's how it is. The gang survival. Right.
You hunting people.
Right. Anybody who try to come through our building.
One of us go down. They going down.
One of us go down, everybody got to go.
Chicago had one of the strictest gun laws in the country, but that didn't begin to slow up the gang.
Tiller would go on live and go back and forth with his ops. He's seen dropping multiple comments to one of his ops and one of the accused shooters in his daughter's death. You can see how Tiller mentions Pluto, who was a close friend of his and also a known shooter from his gang, who was alleged to have over 8 bodies at the time of his own death.
You don't gotta think about Pluto. I swear to God, I wake up, smoke his ass faithfully every day on blood, bread, on my dead, bro, on this man on my face. I smoke his ass every day. He's so fucking dead, it don't make no sense. Who that was, sure? He's so fucking dead, it don't make no sense. That nigga so dead. Shorty, all these woods I got in my pocket right now on blood, them gonna these smoking his ass. It's 6 woods in this. Yeah, 6 woods man motherfucker died on my baby.
Tiller would go on live on Facebook and IG, taunting his ops, dropping his locations, and daring them to pull up. At the time of this video, the shooter was around 16 or 17 years old. Tiller was 27 at the time. Before we can move forward to understand why the next events would transpire, we have to go back in time to understand the CVL history and why they continue to remain at war in Chicago, as well as being one of the oldest original black gangs. In 1957, the Vice Lords gang was founded by several African American youths originally from the North Lawndale neighborhood of Chicago. These youths met while incarcerated in the Illinois State Training School for Boys in St. Charles, also known as the St. Charles Juvenile Correctional Facility. At the time, they were led by founding member Edwin Pepelo Perry. The name Vice was chosen when a gang founder looked up the term in a dictionary and found the meaning as having a tight hold. As the original Vice Lords group were released from incarceration, they quickly began to recruit other youths from their neighborhood and began engaging in conflicts with other clubs from various Chicago neighborhoods. By 1964, they had grown significantly, and law enforcement named them as a primary target for their various illegal activities, including robbery, theft, assaults, battery, intimidation, and extortion. They were noted for their violent behavior. In an attempt at softening their public image, a leader of one of the original 8 Vice Lord sets changed the gang's name to Conservative Vice Lords, which came to serve as the foundation of the entire Vice Lord nation. They developed new logos and advertised themselves as a community outreach group. They went as far as to petition for a community outreach chapter named Conservative Vice Lord Incorporated. This attempt was successful enough that the group began to receive a large amount of positive publicity from various politicians and community leaders. CVL Inc. established a number of recreational areas for neighborhood children, which were then used as meeting houses after they had closed for the day.
The Vice Lords is an alright club to me, until they get the juice in them and feel like fighting. I don't go for that. Everybody over here drinks wine because they think that's the swinging thing to do.
In 1970, 2 Vice Lord leaders, Alfonso Alfred and Bobby Gore, applied for a $275,000 grant from the Rockefeller Foundation. The Rockefeller Foundation approved the grant. This particular era of the CVL is documented in the 1970 film Lord Thing by Chicago filmmaker DeWitt Bial. Those featured in the film include Bobby Gore, Kenneth Goat Parks, Eddie Pepelo Perry, Leonard Singali, and William Franklin. At the same time, the gang was successfully consolidating smaller neighborhood gangs, including the Cherokees, the Morphines, the Comanches, the Continental Pimps, the Imperial Chaplains, the Clovers, the Cobras, and the Braves, into the Vice Lord Nation. As a result, their numbers swelled significantly. In spite of the positive press, it was soon discovered that the Vice Lords were still violent criminals. An introduction of narcotics into the Lawndale neighborhood during this time, along with the rapid increase in crimes involving intimidation, extortion, and murders of business owners who refused to pay for protection, were perpetrated by the gang. As a teenager growing up on Chicago's West Side in the 1960s, Willie Lloyd joined the Unknown Vice Lords, a faction based along 16th Street in the Lawndale neighborhood. Lloyd soon became the faction's leader and recruited thousands of followers. Eventually, he proclaimed himself quote-unquote King of Kings and stated that he was the leader of the entire Vice Lord nation. However, his tenure was interrupted by a prison term for his part in the murder of a police officer in Iowa. Lloyd continued to lead the gang on the outside through fellow inmates and prison employees affiliated with the gang. While incarcerated, Lloyd wrote the Amalgamated Order of Lordism, a 61-page manifesto on the Vice Lord command structure in the prisons and on the streets. He was incarcerated in 1971 until his release on parole in 1986, then was back in prison a year later on a weapons conviction until another parole in 1992. When he left prison in 92, he was picked up by fellow gang members dressed in furs who were driving a convoy of 5 limousines. Later, in 1992, he was involved in a protracted gang war over control of the Vice Lord nation, involving kidnapping and the murder of rival members' children. Law enforcement intensified its efforts to remove Lloyd from the street, and from 1994 to 2001, he was again incarcerated for weapons violations. Lloyd publicly quit the Vice Lords after his release from prison and became an outspoken critic of gang life. Lloyd attempted to earn a living as a gang mediator, and he became affiliated with a non-profit organization. He was briefly a guest lecturer for a class called Street Gangs in Chicago at DePaul University, which was controversial in part due to field trips in which Lloyd took the students to the West Side. In August 2003, Lloyd was shot 4 times in Garfield Park. This was the 3rd assassination attempt on Lloyd. Lloyd became paralyzed from the neck down due to injuries from the shooting. Rumors persisted that Lloyd still wanted to collect a tax from the Vice Lords as his leader, even though he had supposedly left gang life. Lloyd gave interviews stating that he believed his attackers included some of his former henchmen. Lloyd died in 2015 at age 64.
Marriott Hotel for the past few months. Chicago Mayor Richard Daley says the city will continue to be at risk of gang violence as long as people like Willie Lloyd walk the streets.
Well, I think you have to take a guy like that and put him in jail for the rest of his life.
Gang members lined the streets outside the Area 4 headquarters to catch a glimpse of their beleaguered leader. He is being held at the Cook County Jail pending a hearing on parole violations. On the south side, Palmer Beat, CLTV News.
A lot of you may be familiar with areas of Chicago like the South Side because of Chief Keef, King Von, Dirk, and others. You may be familiar with the East Side or Over East from artists like G Herbo, Juice WRLD, Lil Bibby, or others. Chicago's West Side is said to be the most treacherous due to the amount of money they make out west hustling. So this brings not only violence over drugs and territory, but this perpetuates the violence among gang members to keep control over these money-making areas.
Convicted of racketeering, conspiracy, and gun charges.
Now to a developing story. The reputed leadership of one of Chicago's most violent gangs is headed to prison, and others could follow.
A guilty verdict came down late today after a 2-month trial, despite 5 jurors being dismissed just days ago. CBS 2's Audrina Begas is here now with more on the convictions. Audrina.
Good evening, Jim and Mike. Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox says it took years to build this case and 100 witnesses came forward to testify. This is Cook County's first test of the state RICO Act. It's used by police and prosecutors to uproot the leaders of violent street gangs. The Black Souls gang leader, along with 5 other managers, the leaders of a gang that the Cook County State's attorney says wreaked havoc and terror in Chicago's West Garfield Park neighborhood,
including committing an execution-style murder in broad daylight of a neighborhood man who was brave enough to report them.
State's Attorney Kim Foxx says the Black Souls protected their territory by murdering, kidnapping, beating, and intimidating witnesses. Foxx says they controlled heroin and cocaine sales for 15 years.
Today's verdict is a victory for that neighborhood, which deserves safety and peace that the Black Souls robbed them of for years.
All 6 men were found guilty of racketeering and criminal drug conspiracy. During the case, 5 jurors were dismissed. The Chicago Tribune reports 1 juror was found to have lied. Another allegedly made racist remarks. A third lost consciousness.
Certainly the circumstances of the last couple of days with jury deliberations was quite unique, and we'll leave it at that.
This is the first case to be tried in Cook County under the Illinois RICO law passed in 2012.
What this law allowed was for us to look at the enterprise that this gang was operating under.
Next up is sentencing, and all 6 men could face up to life in prison. Jim and Mai.
Thank you, Audrina.
Chicago police say they arrested more than 24 individuals who they say were involved in operating various open-air drug markets on the west side, in particular in Little Village, Pilsen, and Austin. Police say they recovered hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and cash, and they also seized a number of guns and vehicles. A total of 25 people were arrested this week in 3 separate takedowns, police say. These are some of the mugshots of those individuals who were charged with manufacturing and delivery of a controlled substance and or drug conspiracy. All this the result of multiple months-long investigations and dangerous undercover work.
This type of police work puts gang members and anyone engaging in illicit activity on notice. We won't stand for violence or illegal drugs in any community.
Superintendent Brown says the takedowns were specifically timed ahead of the busy Labor Day weekend to try to get those alleged violent offenders off the street, but he lamented the fact that just 3 of the 25 people arrested were held without bond. The rest, he said, were released on cash or I-bonds, and he called on judges to be tougher when it comes to these types of drug offenses.
In 2021, the West Chicago neighborhood of Garfield Park was ranked 3rd in the top 10 neighborhoods for violent crime in Chicago. Garfield Park had a total of 1,301 violent crimes reported. In 2021 as a whole, there were 25,894 violent crimes reported for the entire city of Chicago.
We begin with breaking news on a story we first brought you earlier tonight. 3 people have now died following a shooting in West Garfield Park, and also injured a 4th person.
WGN's Patrick Elwood has a story from Mount Sinai Hospital where those victims died.
At this hour, no arrests to report as police are searching for the suspect or suspects responsible for killing these 3 men. It was just before 3 p.m. when shots rang out in the 4200 block of West Madison. 4 men were struck by gunfire. At least 40 markers were on the ground as police evidence technicians processed the scene and detectives tried to talk to witnesses and gather any kind of video that could be available from security cameras nearby. There are some reports that the trouble started as an argument over cigarettes outside a convenience store. Shots were fired from a white sedan, which sped off by 2 men, according to those witnesses. 3 men who died, their ages 19, 22, and 23. The 4th man, also 22, was dropped off at Loretto Hospital and then transported by ambulance to the trauma center at Stroger Hospital. Nearby Tilton Elementary was put on lockdown for a short time, and early on, Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says it looks like this could be a gang-related matter.
We know that 3 individuals were shot. That shooting is really fresh, so we're working it out. It was in a gang conflict area, so we're looking at that aspect of it. But that's all I can share with you right now.
Historically, police say they get very little cooperation when it comes to gang-related shootings. As of September 15th, just several days ago, at least 350 people have been killed in the city of Chicago. Reporting from Mount Sinai, Patrick Elwood, WGN News.
Get back to
Jontae Adams, who's part of the duo Tilla and Bully Bino, was the intended target of a shooting at a local McDonald's drive-thru, but instead, the suspects would fatally shoot his 7-year-old daughter, Jaslyn. Witnesses at the scene say a vehicle pulled up to Adams' gray vehicle. 2 men hopped out and started obliterating the car with bullets. 6 bullets struck the little girl, while another hit Adams in the spine. Both were rushed to John Stroger Hospital, but Jaslyn didn't survive. Richway Tilla was affiliated with the Vice Lords from 600 block of Ridgeway Avenue on Chicago's South Side. Court records stated Adams was arrested in 2012 and twice in 2013 on suspicion of manufacturing and dealing heroin. The day before Jaslyn was killed, he tweeted, quote unquote, "Ops probably downstairs waiting on me," indicating he likely knew he was being hunted. Following Jaslyn's death, Adams defended his parenting on a Facebook post, writing, "I never did anything but show her how a man's supposed to treat a woman. Anything she asks, she basically get. I don't give a what y'all think because y'all ignorant. I taught her how to use the bathroom, brush her teeth, all that. Nothing but smiles when we together. I know my mistakes I made out here, but I already blame myself, so y'all trying to do it not gonna work." Family members said Jaslyn was a student at Cameron Elementary School and her nickname was Pinky because she was bright and pink was her favorite color. There were 3 men involved in the fatal shooting of Jaslyn Adams. All 3 men were arrested the same year, but at different times and in different parts of Chicago, and one was shot on the highway trying to escape the police.
Good evening, I'm Jim Williams. We start with breaking news in the murder of Jaslyn Adams. Police have charged a man with killing the 7-year-old at McDonald's drive-thru on the west side. This is 18-year-old Marion Lewis. He is now facing first-degree murder and 16 other felony charges. CBS 2's Stephen Graves is live at Chicago Police Headquarters where the superintendent just spoke. Stephen.
Jim, Superintendent Brown making it clear this investigation is far from over. They are still searching for suspects, but when it comes to Lewis, police revealing today they had strong evidence connecting him to Jaslyn's murder after finding guns on him during his arrest. Now, officers found those firearms after a gang unit provided surveillance and tracked Lewis down on the Eisenhower Expressway Thursday. They say he crashed a vehicle and then tried to carjack a family. Police ultimately shot and injured Lewis before taking him into custody. But all we knew back then was that officers connected him to Jaslyn's murder. You remember the girl was shot multiple times in a McDonald's drive-thru last Sunday in the Holman Square neighborhood. More than 30 shell casings were at the scene. And today, investigators confirming to CBS 2 one of those guns found on Lewis was an AK-47. They believe it was used in the murder.
There were 2 guns recovered from when he was arrested on the 290, and one of them was an AK-47, like pistol grip sort of pistol. Both those weapons that were on his person that were recovered, they did test positive to the murder weapons used at the scene to kill Jaslyn.
And again, Superintendent Brown making it clear they are still looking for suspects. He said police will find them. And for those reasons, he has been very tight-lipped, though, on any type of motive or reason that would have led up to this shooting. But we do know Lewis will appear before a judge for a bond hearing tomorrow. Live at CPD headquarters, Stephen Graves, CBS 2 News. Jim?
Stephen, thank you.
Jaslyn's mother will go on a radio show and publicly speak about the loss of her daughter. She says that Tilla, her father, knew better, and he shouldn't have picked her up.
I'm still recovering. I was just recovering from a bad accident that I had in January. Like, I couldn't barely walk. I was all discombobulated at the time. I was at home. Like, I didn't even get the call. My boyfriend got the call from his mama. Somebody called her. Nobody didn't even call me. I didn't even know she was with him. She had no permission being in his car.
Where was she supposed to be?
She's supposed to be at my aunt's house. Oh. She was at my aunt's house, but you know, all the kids got their own phone, so that's how she was communicating with him. My aunt, when I called her, she was like, "How, Nisha? How?" She out like because they was playing in the park. She was getting ready to bring. She didn't know. We didn't know that my baby was in the car with him.
You just told us for the first time he wasn't even supposed to have Jaslyn. So did you know there was something potentially harmful happening in his life? Is that why you didn't want your daughter with him?
2020, July 4th, my daughter and my son seeing him get shot up. He got shot up in front of my kids before. Whatever he got going on, he know. They just didn't we just finna wire it up wherever Roosevelt, and they just didn't do that. Come on now. No, that's not. He knew whatever he had going on, he knew he had it going on before he put my daughter in his car. He knew that. He made a post the day before and said he won't be surprised if the ops, not the day before, the day to be exact, if the ops waiting for him. He knew what he had going on. He knew he had no business putting that baby in his car at all, period. Me personally, how I feel he knew what he was doing. She texted him everything that they wanted from McDonald's. Even if he came from his house, wherever he came from, he passed that McDonald's to go pick her up. So why would you put her in the car? Why wouldn't you call me? Like, you acting like this something you do. This ain't nothing you do. You have to have permission to get my baby. Like, you know that. Like, this something you do. You call me. If she was at my house, you know you wouldn't have came to my house and picked her up.
One of the show hosts would ask a question almost in defense for Tiller, asking her basically, if you knew Tiller was already in the streets, why would you be with someone like him and have kids with him?
But I have to ask you a question. He didn't just start doing this stuff overnight, like you said. He knows what he's always been about. So why, some might ask the question, why would a young lady of your stature deal with a brother like that, knowing that, let's be honest, when you met him, you can't say that he wasn't involved. Was he involved in all that kind of stuff?
I was dealing with him since I was 16 years old. I was 16 years old. I was young. Like, he don't know the new me. Like, he went around saying he took care of my baby. I've been taking care of him from 16 till he was probably like 24. So he didn't take care of her. He babysitted. But I was young when I first met him. Like, I was 16 years old. Like, he wasn't even like that. He wasn't nowhere near when we were 16.
He wasn't deep in the game.
He wasn't nothing like that at all, period. Like, he changed, and when he got the change, and I changed with him, and when I got up enough to know what's going on, I got up out of there.
So you matured. You basically matured and moved on.
And I got up out of there.
Okay.
Tiller describes the day that his car was shot up at the McDonald's. Listen to his words and watch his facial expressions and body language. This man will forever walk around with a weight in his heart that the majority of us will pray to never have to carry.
No parent wants to bear a child. I can't imagine this. Most people can't. And so, can you tell me about your daughter and what happened that day?
First, my daughter named Jaslyn Adams. She's a very energetic girl. She loves TikToks and making TikTok videos and stuff. So on April 18th, I had got a text from her asking me to come get her and take her to McDonald's. So when I left out the crib, I went to go get her. She was telling me everything that her cousins wanted, her brothers wanted. She gave me a whole list of stuff to get for them. Like, you know, so this wasn't even in the plan. Like, she's like, man, my sister didn't want this. So I go to McDonald's, so by the time we pull in the McDonald's drive-thru, now we arguing about, we debating about the aux cord is music she want to listen to. Yeah. And she trying to play it off my phone, and I'm getting irritated, like, well, just plug your phone up, baby. Like, you know, you got a whole phone. Yeah. So in the midst of her putting the aux cord in and us pulling to the to order, the car head came in and started shooting. Like, you know, they shot her side, the passenger side up like 30 times. They got out, they got back in the car. They seen that I crashed. They got back out the car, and they shot again. Like, which led to my baby passing. Like, she was hit 6 times. I was hit once in the back and the spine.
Richway Tiller's father explains to Steve Harvey what he experienced and went through the day that his granddaughter was fatally shot.
Johnny, now you're his dad. Okay, what was your reaction when your son called to tell you that your granddaughter was gone?
My immediate reaction when I got the call was, it was like a shock, and it hurt. because at first I didn't get the information that my grandbaby had passed. I just thought that my son had got shot. When I'm getting closer, you know, I get another phone call and say, your grandbaby, you know, it's the granddaughter, she didn't make it. It hurted me because my son, this is my son. Yes, that's my grandchild, but that's my son's baby. It's no greater love. You know, we all talk about how, you know, the grandbabies always love their grandparents. And, you know, we treat them just so good, you know. Yeah. And just to hear those voices of granddaddy, granddaddy, you know, and for me to know that that wasn't gonna be no more, you know, it shook me to a point that I said, something has to be done. Something has to change.
Tilla tells Steve Harvey that his daughter's killers have all been arrested and charged.
Did we ever find out who's responsible?
Oh, yes. All three of us, everybody involved in the case is locked up. Everybody. My baby actually got justice, like it's being served like the right way. Okay. Legally, like the police actually did their job.
That's the key, the right way.
The right way.
Because see, I understand street justice and the way it works, but like your dad was saying, we have to change and we have to teach our young men that there's another way.
Tilla would then clear up all the rumors online after getting out of the hospital after being shot that fateful day at the McDonald's. He states that he wasn't in the video at the cemetery and it couldn't have been him because he was on house arrest when that video was made.
Yeah, about the video, like, as far as me pissing and shit, bro, that's not me. That's not me, bro. That's not me. Now, let's see, bro. That's not me pissing on no videos, y'all. That's not me. But I'm not no saint. I'm not no saint. I do know the people who was in the video, but that's not me. And see, that goes to show that y'all have to stop running y'all mouth before you get full details. See what I'm saying? That's not me pissing in that video. That's not me. I was on house arrest. See what I'm saying? The whole time that shit was going on, I was on house arrest. But I just got off house arrest. Like, so everything the motherfuckers saying in the blogs, all he's supposed to did this, he's supposed to did. See, I'm the type of smart motherfucker that gonna tell you I was on 7-7 for 2 years. Ain't no way in hell I could get that because I'm a thinker.
He states that there are no codes in the streets once children become involved.
I just got shot in the neck, the elbow. I just got shot 4 times last time, 3 surgeries. I'm saying police asked me, you know who did it? Nope. Nope, I didn't. First time before that, I got shot 4 times in the leg. No, who did it? Nope. That's the code I live by because I know I'm not no saint. But the moment a motherfucker touch my baby, ain't no fucking codes with your dumb ass. You want me to keep playing codes that y'all made? Nah, I'm making my own. I'm making my own, and I wish you niggas would try to get up on me because you know it's still on the side up on me.
There was a statue created in New York in honor of Richway Tilla's daughter, Jaslyn Adams. The statue reads, "This sculpture is in the memory of an innocent child who was killed in the streets of Chicago. Pinky represents all the innocent children we lose to the violent crime that continues to overrun our streets across this country. Let us not forget them." Alright, y'all, and there y'all have it. The story of Richway Tilla, man. Hey, I just want to say, hold your head, man. You're a very, very strong individual. You know, it's easy to place blame on people when things go wrong, but there's no fucking way that you knew what was gonna happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if you knew that was gonna happen, you wouldn't have went to the McDonald's with your daughter, man. So it's always easier to be negative than it is to be positive, man. May God bless you. And for real, right now, let's just give his daughter Jaslyn Adams a moment of silence, man. Alright, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. Get in the comment section. Like, subscribe, share. Y'all already know what it is. Rest in peace to Jaslyn Adams, man. Sad story, man. May this be a lesson to everybody, man. Put the guns down. It's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it. All right, y'all. You know what it is. Drillers and trappers, trappers and drillers. Catch y'all on the next one. Gang.